This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Oh, Kale nailed on me. Guys, welcome to this episode. I believe this might be Kale's last ever episode with me, well, at least for today anyway. Now, carrying on from our conversations earlier in the week, today we're going to actually go through and talk about defining success. That as a broad term can kind of be overused, I think, of like, how do you define a success? Really important question, but a lot of the time we're letting society define success for us and end up fucking pursuing something that really isn't fulfilling. So we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into that today, and I want you to be able to, maybe consider taking this into your day and into your actions and go from there. So firstly, I suppose, Kale, what is your definition of success?
I think last episode we did touch on success in a way because we talked about finding and living a life that allows you to pursue your highest values. And I think in that is the definition of success. And I think, if I may, I'd love to actually suggest that I think a lot of us are living out of alignment with our highest values. And I think a lot of us subsequently are unsuccessful, and I see that a lot in my own family. I see it a lot in the health industry. I see it a lot in the creative industry. I see it everywhere. But I would also say that some people actually are confused about their highest values, and perhaps they get a little bit pressured, or they find they are not in touch with who they are, so they actually pick up expectations externally.
Yep.
For instance, the chase, the attainment of fame.
Yeah.
We've heard often, time and time and again, that fame does not equal happiness, and yet so many of us are still chasing this intangible notion called fame. It's very bizarre. And then, of course, we talk about financial status as well, and I suppose I think I still, for me, fell into that when I was younger. When I was finishing up as a TV reporter, I was I felt like I had a bit of a monkey on my back in that I had finished this supposed dream job to pursue my own thing. I had better make sure that I earn more money than I was at this TV reporter job. Otherwise, I had made a mistake and I wasn't successful. So I think that it's easy to get caught up in that, and particularly the monetary side of things, because, we equate so much monetarily. We equate value so much monetarily.
Well, we confuse value and price, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, I think, in order to be successful, truly successful, we need to find what our highest values are. And I would suggest that most people have, just want to be happy and safe and have meaningful relationships. Yep. I think those are very important parts of who we are inherently as human beings.
Yeah, that kind of comes down to like Maslow's hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
So I think what I'm getting from what you're saying now is a lot of people have defined success before they even define their highest values. And so really they may not be actually defining their own success. They're defining a society's view, or maybe, they've had, handed over their authority. They've given external authority for people to define what success is for them. So at least they know what to do. And if they then fall into a trap, it wasn't their fault, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. I quite like that. The best definition I've ever heard for success was actually by a guy called Jarrett Grossman. Mind you, I did a little bit of work with Jarrett, and I'm never ever going to work with him again. But I think that he was in a building stage of his business at that point in time, and it definitely it didn't feel right. Let me just put it there and leave it there, right? But his definition of success I found to be something that I align with more than anything else I've heard. And that definition is that success is the magnitude of the beneficial footprint that you leave upon society.
Ah, that's good. I like that.
So I was like, okay, that really got me thinking, because it really aligned with how I see things. And as I've gone further into business and further into the industry, further into my own life, and I've gotten this far and I've done a heap of shit that I've never been paid for, I'm like, fuck, I'm still living. And so I don't always have to produce content to get paid for that. In fact, I actually really enjoy just producing content. I really enjoy doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
I really enjoy putting content out there. And the more authentically it is me, the better I feel about it, right? And that's like thousands of bits of content.
Yeah.
Podcasts, blogs, Instagram posts, videos, thousands of bits of content in order for me to get to a space where it's like, stop in the back of my mind thinking that maybe I'll get paid for this one day and just do it because it feels right.
Yeah.
And where that came to really understanding for me is I had to look at my content and go, okay, and this is now how I judge my content. If somebody never purchased anything from me, never came to a seminar, never did any courses, never did any coaching, didn't come to my gym, could they still go to use my content and change their life? And if I look at all my content and it's like, oh, probably not, then I'm not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
And so that's how I judge that now. And what the easiest way I can explain it is, for me, it's impact over income.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that an individual shouldn't earn income or should be, I want to turn money away. It's not that. Money is just energy. What it comes down to is that when that becomes the motivator rather than the byproduct, then that's really, like, the behavior may be the same, but the motivation for the behavior is actually going to really signify what that person's after. So my definition of success really aligns with Jarrett's, and in short, it's impact over income.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, my definition of success is not standing in a little sweaty room dripping with sweat.
Hey,
standing next
how is this not success? Fuck, it is hot today.
Oh, yes, it is hot. But, you know, in saying that, I've probably personally... And your definition of success can and should change over time.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
when
you evolve, right?
Yeah, you evolve. When I was younger, it was all about... you know, just building up a successful business. You know, as I say, as I'm like wiping sweat off me, it was all about building up a successful business.
It's hard work in these podcasts.
And getting that monkey off my back. You know, I'd left Channel 10. It was like, oh, you know, shit. Now what? You know, I've gone and taken this big risk. What am I going to do? So once that sort of went away, and I had it's particularly after the Gut movie, after actually releasing the film and having it be both socially or aesthetically and commercially successful, it sort of throws into perspective the whole reason for wanting to create and tell stories in the first place.
Yeah.
And, you know, for you, I think, you know, for you, you're more of a working with people or for people sort of thing. Most of the time, I'm just working for myself.
Sure.
And that's, you know, my definition of success is to look back over a story or a project or a creation and be very proud of it and enjoy it myself, and not worry too much. I definitely worry, but not worry too much about what other people think, but just hope sort of do that in a way that still inspires people, but from afar.
Yeah, well, not all criticism is created equally, right? No. And I think that's not my quote. I read that through Tribe Mentors.
Yeah.
But I can't remember who wrote that in there, but it was something I'm like, oh, that's a really good way to think about it, because it means that, like, if not all criticism or feedback even is created equally, what's more important is my internal dialogue of, does this feel right to me?
Yeah.
I'm okay with falling short as long as it feels right to me and I'm going to learn from it.
Yeah.
But falling short at somebody else's idea of success really is failure. You know, and even succeeding in someone else's idea of success still is a failure. And unless you're going to learn from that, then you're going to be 40 and unhappy.
It just leads to unhappiness. That's the thing we heard from... I always look at... I think Jim Carrey is a pretty excellent example of someone who's very enlightened. And
yeah, absolutely.
He talked about the fact when he was rich and famous, you know, he realized that it had nothing to do with happiness, and he said that he wished everybody could become rich and famous so they could realize that it's not the answer. The answer is to actually find happiness within, and to find happiness within, we need to be living our highest values. I think, anyway.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And how important, we'll finish it with this, how important, it's good, is it...
Pertinent?
Important. Do you think it is to be able to create your own definition for success, or find a definition that suits you?
Yeah. I mean, find a definition that suits you. I think still biologically speaking, we all have very strong similarities in that we would identify with certain aspects of success. And that's probably why, for instance, fame is considered successful, it's because it's this widespread acknowledgement of recognition.
Yeah,
or
social proofing as
it's
well.
social proofing. You know, we're part of the tribe. We're a valued part of the tribe. So in a way, there are going to be elements of fame, if you will, that are indeed healthy and are going to work for us and be part of our own version of success, probably. So, you know, I think there are going to be some pretty fundamental principles behind success, but you've got to find which ones and really make it work for you. And sometimes, you know, that's for me, I'm like, what's my perfect day? What does my perfect day look like? And if I can say that, oh, my perfect day was last week, then, you know, I'm successful.
Okay, cool. Fantastic. Well, my homework for you guys is to, if you haven't already, find or create some version of or definition of success for yourself, right? So you know what to aim for each day. Now, in saying that, like Cal said earlier, it's going to evolve. So don't worry about it being right. Concern yourself over making sure something feels right that you can align with. And from there, it allows us to map out a bit more about how our actual ideal day looks like.
Yeah.
Guys, we've gone. This is how long this podcast.
Oh,
Cal got
over
excited.
time.
I asked him a question. I should have been like, say yes or no. But we're here, and I'm still talking. Right, guys. Cal, thank you very much for being on the podcast and dealing with the heat here in Canberra for the last 3 days. Do you have anything last to say? That's not a good sentence.
Anything last to say?
English.
Thank you very much for having me on the show, everybody. I wish you very well on your own journeys, and I hope it's a very fun and happy and exciting one.
Beautiful. And where can everyone find you?
At Cal's Broccoli on social media. It's the easiest thing.
Delicious. Until tomorrow, team. Peace and pizza.
Kick yourself in the dick. No, what is it?
You suck at this. Kick today in the dick. Hit life as big as you can. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.